Hi, good evening, everyone. Hello. Hi, good evening. I'm audible. Okay. So, very good evening and Jai Hind. Today, we are going to discuss more about integer. Yesterday, we started with the data types. So, generally, data types which are those which basically store some information or also work as a wire or connectivity. Okay, so yesterday we discussed day before yesterday. I think we discussed with the keyword wire, and I think yesterday only, and also we discussed about the keyword reg. Okay, so wire is basically data types which is used for the connectivity. Okay, that is a connection between the two modules or between the two gates. Okay, and which has a default value of z. Okay, which generally don't hold any information, right? And then we discussed about the reg. What is basically a reg? Reg is basically a variable, okay, which basically store the some value, retain it for some time unless and until a new value don't arrive it. Okay, so if the new value comes, the older value will be excluded, and the new value will be retained and then perform the operation. So basically, it store the values. Okay, it does not give any physical implementation of any hardware. Okay, but on case-to-case basics, you will come to know that how the reg is basically used for the sequential and for combination logic. Okay, so if what is my objective is here that I can give you the explanation about the reg, about the wire in just 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and I can just pass the time and then went to the next classes. Okay, but my objective is to give you the best information so that you should aware of the each and everything. Like for example, if I'm not tell you the detail about the reg, then you will not going to perform the behavior modeling. Okay, you will not come to know that where actually we can use the reg. Okay, and what is the purpose of using the reg and how this reg is basically giving the output or helping us to get the output. Similarly, there is one more data types today we are going to discuss in very detail. Okay, so that data type is known as a integer data types, right? So as I mentioned previously that I'm going to explain in PPT because PPT will help you to understand the description in details because this description will help us to make the concept. Okay, sometime whatever I am saying to you or I am explaining here, maybe you cannot catch me. Okay, but with the help of the PPT, you can catch my words and you can understand it very well. So this is the basic difference between the PPT based learning and the programming based learning. If I'm giving you any knowledge regarding the programming, like how to program it, I cannot explain on PPT. Okay, because the programming will only explain on some tools, okay, which I have already shown you previously. But to understand the concept, to understand the syntax, to understand the other things like how we call, what is the output, what is the basic syntax, okay, that all we don't have to write it. Okay, we can easily understand with the help of PPT. Okay, so let's back to the PPT and get started. Things like how we call, what is the output, what is the basic syntax. Okay, that all we. Okay, so PPT is here, and we will go one by one line, and I will explain you one by one the purpose of the or the concept behind the lines. Okay, so please try to understand. And around we have 20-30 slides today. We are discussing on integer. Okay, so be with me. If you are not able to understand, just go and rewind it and again go through it and just make a notes from your own. Later or sooner, I will share this PPT content also. Okay, so I have collected the data from the book, from the other resources. You guys know very well. Okay, so I have collected the data according to my understanding, and I'm representing uh, to you so that I'm presenting to you so that you should have a better understanding of each and every data types. Okay, so what is integer? So basically, we are aware of the integer from our class 6th, 7th, 8th maybe. Okay, so basically the integer, sometime the integer reflect that integer means that some numeric value. Okay, so we know that the integer which represents some numeric value like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up to any numbers. Okay, so that is the basic understanding. If I ask 26, 7th, 8th class student what is integer, so integer means that is some numeric value. But what is the purpose of integer is here. Let's discuss in Verilog. What is the purpose of the integer in Verilog? It is a part of the mathematics. It is a part of the calculation. It is how it is going to connect with the HDL. Okay, so let's discuss one by one. So as per the definition, the integer is a data types that support numeric. Numeric means number. Numeric computation. Computation means calculation. Okay, so integer is a data types which support the computation. That is a numeric based computation. That is a number based calculation. Okay, so as I mentioned here just few seconds back, that integer which give a message that which reflect that it is something related to the numbers, numeric numbers. Okay, so in a procedural code. Okay, procedure code means again a behavior modeling. Okay, so integer is a data types, is a storage data types, is a type of data types which store some value. But here the integer means that some numeric value which perform the some calculation and which is a part of the behavior modeling, behavior code, procedural code. Okay, so procedure is basically it's reflect the behavior modeling. Okay, try to understand it. If someone is asking what is continuous, that means I am talking about the data flow modeling. If someone is asking what is procedure, that means it is reflect to the behavior modeling. Okay, so integer are represented internally to the word length of the host machine. Okay, so basically it depends upon the what is the count size of the integer. That is important. Okay, like up to how many counts we can use the integer. So basically it depends upon the system. Okay, like if system is 32 bit, 64 bit, then generally it takes the data or it takes the numeric value up to the system configuration or system requirement. Okay, a negative number is stored in 2s complement. Again, as we know that again we know that in basic simple mathematics we know in class 6th, 7th, 8th, minus 32 minus 31 to plus 32 or something like minus 32 to plus 31. Okay, so 31 is basically 0 to 31 is basically a your unsigned. Okay, what is unsigned? Unsigned means the positive numbers. Unsigned, un. Okay, so if something is used before the sign, that is called un. That is the word is un. That is called positive numbers. And if I'm talking about the sign, that means I'm talking about the negative numbers. Okay, so sign means minus one, minus two, minus three. Okay, so by default, any number will be unsigned. But if you want to make it a negative, then you have to use the word sign. Okay. Now, register declared as data types reg store values as unsigned quantities, whereas the integer store value as a signed quantities. Okay. So in last class we have learned what is reg. So basically reg is storing the data in terms of positive values 0 to 32. Okay. But here the your integer is basically storing the negative values also. Okay, so this is the purpose of the meaning of the last two line is that integer store value as signed quantities, that is in a signed numbers. Okay, so this is a simple definition I have explained, but now let's go to the slide one by one, and I'm going to help you to understand that how we are using the how we are calling the integer as a integer, like with the help of if you know that what is loop, what is while loop, okay, with the help of operations, what is the default value of the integer, okay, etc., etc. So I'm giving you some basic example. Okay, I'm trying to explain the integer properties or usage of integer with some example. Okay, so be with me and please try to understand. Okay, again, so as I mentioned, integer is a data types in Verilog, is used to store signed whole numbers. Again, whole numbers means what? Something which is not fraction, something which is not decimal. Okay, so what is whole number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is not a like 1.23 or 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is not a whole number. Okay, 3.678 is not a whole number. So basically the integer is basically a store the value in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. Okay, so it is mainly used in, okay, now if someone is asking, this is an interview question, my dear. Someone is asking, or your interviewer, just I have prepared in terms of interview only. So what is the purpose of using the integer, or where we can use the integer? So integer can be used in test bench. Okay, we have discussed only one or two in one or two classes about the test bench. Very simple method. Okay, but yes, in test bench you can define the integer, you can define the range. Okay, we have already used the range in test bench to store our input values. Okay, similarly the test bench also have a integer. Okay, so to perform the some operations, right? So use in test benches, in loops. So if you're designing any logic, if you're calling a loop like integer I less than 5 and then incrementation, that we will discuss. Okay, so integer is also used in a loop type of programs. Okay, counters, a basic simple counter approach, that I want to build a some 256-bit counter. Okay, so again, it can be like, I know something, but I don't want to discuss here. That is counter designing something with help of loop and without the loop. Okay, so if you're counting something within a 1 clock second. Okay, if you're counting something within a 1 clock second up to the 256 bit or anything, right? You have to use the counters. Calculation, simple mathematics for addition, subtraction, and multiplication. And for simulation control, okay, this is, I'm not much aware about the simulation control, but yes, we will see later on, because I am not 100% perfect in everything, and even no one is perfect, because knowledge is really very, I can say, very vast things, which really you have to dedicate a lot of times. Okay, so this is a syntax how we basically call a integer. So you have to define with the keyword integer. So this keyword integer is always show in a blue word, okay, in a blue color. Okay, and this is your variable name. For example, integer I or integer count. So basically you have to design, or you have to call the integer in this form. Okay, so this is the syntax. Okay, now feature of integer, as we discussed theoretically 2 3 times. So this is again a interview based questions. Okay, like someone is asking, okay, your interviewer will ask, my dear, you know integer? You say yes. Okay, so what is the size of the integer? You should know, sir. Size of the integer is 32-bit. What is the type of the integer? Okay, sir, it is always it is basically both signed unsigned. Okay, so but the real type is signed. Negative is store the value. Yes. Whole numbers only. Okay. Not in fraction, not in decimal. And negative values supported, minus 2s complement. Yes, supported. And main usage is for simulation and test bench. But again, not only in simulation test bench, but also used for the synthesizable purpose also. Okay. So it is limited to synthesizable. It is not 100% synthesizable, but it is limited to synthesizable in some case to case basis. Okay. So this is the integer range. Okay, this is again an interview question. Okay, so someone will ask like me. Okay, can you please tell me the first three numeric value of range from -1 to plus. If you are aware it, you can say that it start from -214 74864 to +214. Okay, now ये कैसे आया? Okay, this we have to work out. Okay, so I will try to work out and I will share with you in some later on here. Okay, so this is an interview question. Try to understand, right? Now, oh sorry, I think I have repeated here. So integer is a let's discuss one by one. Okay, so basically an integer is a two-state signed variable. Integer mainly stores signed numeric values. Okay, signed numeric values in 32-bit, and also it store the 2's complement which represent the negative numbers. Okay, so for example, see, very easy. Okay, so suppose that you have So suppose that this is your positive coordinate, this is your negative coordinate. Okay, and this is 5, something like that. So this is 5. So your machine is reading the 5, like 101. Okay. Similarly, the machine will also read the -5. Okay, but this time, but this time, but this time, your value will be different. So the value will be, if it is in 4-bit, the value will be 0101. Okay, so again, this is how basically, see, this is +5 101. Okay, and this is 011. Okay, sorry, 1011. Okay, how we are calculating this, we will let you know separate in digital class. Or if I explain in very simple way, for example, your 1001 is basically a 9. So the 2's complement always be a -9. Okay, if this is a positive 9, then 0110 plus 1. Okay, so basically it is 0111. So it is 7. It is not 9. Then what we have to do? We have to convert into the 32-bit. Okay, so it is not possible for me to calculate in 32-bit. So I will do it. What is the सबसे closest value is 8-bit. 8-bit. So 8-bit means we have to add 40. Okay, then 11110. Okay, so sorry. So initially we have to make this 4-bit. Okay, here only we have to make it 4-bit. Okay, so it will be your 1111. Okay, and then this will be, okay, let me suppose that one, let's take example of 5 only. Okay, so 5, okay, 5, I will not take 5, I will take 1001 as a 4-bit. Okay, so 0110. So you know that if you convert, if you add 1, then you are getting only 7. Okay, so this is a 7. Okay, so how to get a -7? For this, you have to, in starting only, you have to add a +4, because the closest from 4 is to 8. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. Okay, so we have to follow the same structure. Okay, so 1 1 1 1, oh, sorry, 10 1001. Okay, now 1 1 1 1 0 1 1 0 plus 1. Now out is 1 1 1 1 0 1 1 1. Now convert into the decimal. 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So -128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 0 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. Okay, so if you calculate, if you add this, so it is 64, 32, 64, 32, 16, 4, 2, and 1. So 4 plus 2, 6, 6 plus 6, 12, 12 plus 4, 16, and 18, 19. So 10 and then 19. So -128 plus -119. So 18 minus 9, 9. So -9. Okay. So in this way, basically your data will come here. Okay. So this allows the hardware simulator to perform the sign arithmetic easily. Okay, so integer is basically help you to perform the any negative operation very easily. Okay, now integer default value, very important. Okay, what is the value of the default of integer? Like wire is x, reg is z. Why wire is x? Because it is just in just as a something is working as a input, something as a working as a output. Reg y z, and now the value of default is integer is x. Okay, this is your how, because see, this is a simple program. Suppose that we have written a program. Okay, we have written a program. We have defined. We have called integer a. Okay, and we have not performed any operation. Okay, here basically we have not performed any operation. Okay, we have not performed any operation. Okay, we have just called a. Okay, so what is this? This is basically a displaying of your output. Okay, dollar display is basically used to display the output. Okay, so this is basically a syntax: a equal to dollar d comma a. Okay, so this is all used for the virtual simulation. Okay, so you have not performed any operation. Then what is the default value of a will come? X. So this is an interview question. Okay, next, the multiple integer declaration. For example, if you are declaring the integer, this actually in my last just previous session here I have introduced or I have called a simple a, simple one integer. Okay, now what happened if we call a multiple ABC? If I will call a 3 4 integer, okay, that is I'm calling 3 4 integer or more than one integer, then how it is possible? Okay, so again, the multiple integer declaration. Okay, so integer can be used in expression. In this case, I am just one of the example, that is integer ABC. Okay, and basically I have performed under the initial I have given value of A10, B4, and C I have performed this operation. See, this operation A into B plus A minus B. So if you perform this, then if you perform this 10 into 4 plus 10 minus 4. So if you know the board mass, okay, bracket over division, multiplication, mass, addition, subtraction. Okay, so board mass, so bracket over, so this is 40 plus 6, 10 minus 4, 6. So this is 46. So here basically you have called the A is basically used for 10, B is basically used for 4, and C is basically used for the output, that is a 46. Okay, if you don't understand, please rewind it and please then forward it. Okay, now integer truncation. Now what is truncation? Truncation is something like you have a fraction number 448.65. So basically to remove this 0.65, to obsolete it, to cut it down, that is called truncation. Okay, so here truncation means how this is. I'm just giving one basic example. Maybe it is going to use it or not, but just for your basic awareness. Okay, so when assigning the larger value beyond the 32-bit range, extra bit may be truncated. Okay, so as you know that range of any integer is 32 bits. Okay, so but if you are defining in 64-bit, so the last 64-bit will be, sorry, last 32-bit will be obsolete, not added. See, the only lower 32 bits are stored. Okay, the only lower 32 bit are stored. So you know the, okay, so this is one of the simple understanding of truncation, integer truncation. Now what is this? Basic integer. Okay, again, I think some slides are jumbled. Okay, so just one example. What is integer? How we are basically calling the integer? So integer. This is an example. This is an integer num. Okay, then initial begin. You have defined num 25, and you are just displaying the number. Okay, see here. Here you are defining the, here you are basically, you have basically a defined some number. So here the default value will be not x. Here in this case the default value is x, because inside the initial we have not assigned any value to a. That is why the default value is x. But here in this case we have defined the value 25. Okay, that is why this is showing the output 25. Okay, example 2. Negative number, uh, earlier was unsigned, now this is for signed. Simple, initial integer number, initial begin number minus 15. So if you want to display something in negative in your simulation, in your output, then this integer is going to help you, because integer also give the output in terms of negative. So see, the output is minus negative, minus 15. Okay, most commonly integers loops. Okay, so I mentioned earlier. Okay, so this is just a one of the application, just a one of the example. Okay, okay, how the integer is basically used in a loop. Okay, so simple example is loop integer I. Okay, initial begin. Okay, so you guys may be aware of it. Okay, this is a basic fundamental of C programming. Okay, so this is a for loop, something you are initializing, then you are condition, you are giving the condition this is greater than or less than, and then you are incrementing it. Okay, so basically it will run for 5 times. Okay, for 0, for 1, so 2, 3, 4, because here you don't want the integer should be always less than 5. Okay, should be always less than 5, you don't want it equal to 5 or greater than 5. Okay, so I is 0, start with 0, the output is 0. Okay, then the whole, then it will check the condition, yes it is less than 5. Okay, then your output is read, and then incrementation will start, that is I plus 1. Then again it will come to here, I is equal to 1, yes I is less than 5, yes your output is read here, and then again incrementation, 1 plus 1 2, then I is equal to 2, 2 is less than 5, yes, and then incrementation. Okay, then 3, and then 4. So your output will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a, so I can say of 5 times including 0, your counter, your loop will work. Okay, so don't confuse about this, this is just a display. Okay, I'm actually I focused on only the RTL code. Okay, synthesizable code, we are not, I'm personally not from the verification side. Okay, because for verification side, the verification engineer using lot of system task syntax used to perform the lot of the operations. Okay, just for your understanding, I have mentioned here that because this is not a complete code, right? This code doesn't have the input and output. Okay, so that is why just for a virtual simulation purpose, we have used this syntax dollar display. So this dollar display will show you in the console box of any tool. So either you are using the open source tool, I just forget it. Okay, so I will let you know that open source tool, there you will write this program, and then you will get the output in your console box. Okay, next, integer arithmetic operations. Okay, integer arithmetic operation. So integer also supports addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. Okay, so just one simple example, integer ABC, initial begin. So I have given A20, B5. Okay, so this is actually, so this is from here the operation, oh sorry, oh, okay, from here. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, okay, sorry, this is 3, and this is 4. Okay, so A is 20, B is 5. So what is the output? And here C is the output. Okay, C is my output. So C is equal to A plus B. So your output is 10 plus 25. Okay, C A minus B, 20 minus 5, 15. Okay, if you want to make it B minus A, then yes, the output will be minus 15. Okay, A into B, 20 into 5, 100. And yes, divisor is 20, 20 divided by 5, yes, 4. Okay, so this is how basically your integer work in terms of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay. Please again, I am collecting the data from many resources, and I'm sharing here. Okay, so that you should not miss the anything. Okay, if still I'm missing anything, please go through the resources. So how you can basically increase your knowledge. The increasing of knowledge is the best way is to learn the different blocks, different PPTs. Try to understand and listen the YouTube lectures of different authors. Okay, and then only you have a better or I can say a deep understanding of everything. Right. Next. So delay example. Just again, a very simple example here. Basically, I have used the term delay here. So module delay integer I again with the help of the for loop. Okay, but now here that in the last in this here that is this one is execute at delta plus 0, that is at 0 delay. Okay, this execute at delta plus 1, that is 0 0.1, 0 0.2, 0 0.3, 0 0.4. So, but actually we cannot see the delta delay. Okay, there are heavy tools, there are very good tools which basically show the delta delays. Okay, but in our normal freeware or a web edition, we generally don't see the delta delays. Okay, so this is how it is uh, executed in a normal simulation at 1 microsecond, 2 microsecond, 3 microsecond, 4 microsecond, or 5 microsecond. So it is automatically added 1111 microsecond. Okay, by default. Okay, just like a 0 0.1, 0 0.2, 0 0.3 is added because everything cannot be executed at a single delta. Okay, internally it always will take some delay, right? So here in this case also, here in this case, basically we have added a here in this case we have added a this hash 10. Okay, why? Because now the first simulation at 10 nanosecond, now the second simulation will be added again after 10 nanosecond. So the total will be the 20, and the third will be at 30. So why it is running up to the 30? Because here I is 0, so your final output should be concluded less than 3. Okay, should be concluded at less than 3. So at 0 it is 10 nanosecond or whatever your output is, or it is counted 0. Again at 1 at 20 nanosecond count at 1, and 2 at 20 30 nanosecond count at 2. ठीक है, but if we go for 3 which is equal to, okay, which is here I have not mentioned the 3, right? It is I less than 3, so you have to so the tool will be work up to the value 2. Okay, because here you have set the condition. Okay, so just for your understanding, that is how basically I is used. Okay, again here this is your numeric 0 1 2 3. This is numeric 3 2 1 0, and this is again a numeric. Okay, so just a basic difference between an integer and reg. Okay, so what is integer? As I mentioned, integer is a data types which store the value, but in terms of the numeric. Okay, computation purpose, having the sign and unsigned both. Okay, and default value is x. Okay, and integer range is -214 to +214. Okay, and also included a 2's complement. So whatever you are saying, rest don't do it. So reg size, so integer size is fixed. Reg is a user defined. Okay, reg is a user defined. Like you want to do it in a vector form, or especially in vector form. So if you are writing in 7 is to 0, 1000 is to 0. So basically you are defining the, definition of the size in reg. That is a 7 down to 0. Okay, so basically this is a size defined by the user. Okay, signed, yes, negative, usually unsigned. Okay, mainly used for simulation. It is 100% used for hardware simulation. Loop counters, yes, it is used for the loop counters. Rare, it doesn't basic. We will use it as a reg for the implementation of the counter and shift register. It is not like that, but yes, we use reg. Reg for the counter, but not for the loop counter. Okay, so difference between a counter and loop counter is the loop counter, which is basically execute at 1 nanosecond, at is either at between within one clock cycle. Okay, as per my understanding, which is executed at one clock cycle, because loop is generally used for the computation purpose. So millions of numeric values if you want to calculate and you want to get the output at single clock cycle, then it is better to have it, right? But if you are using the simple counter logic, I plus 1, and if you are calculating the millions of calculation, then it will take the millions of clock cycles, correct? So it's better to use the, for the any computation within a one clock cycle, then loop is the best. Okay, store XZ, not preferred. Yes, preferred. Okay, there are many things. Still, few things are still left. So, important note: an integer is mostly used in behavior modeling. Okay, behavior modeling, because integer is not used with the data flow. Integer is not used with the data flow. Okay, so integer is not used with the data flow or any gate level modeling. Integer is 100% available with the behavior modeling. Why? Because integer need to initialize the value. So value you have to initialize where? In a initial. So initial is a part of the procedure assignment statement. So sorry, initial is a block which is a part of the behavior modeling. Okay, so this is how you are connected. Okay, test benches, yes, to check the data at different values. Definitely, you need a integer values. Summation purpose. So for synthesizable hardware, designer usually prefer reg, okay, instead of an integer. Okay, so this is something which we have to see the practically. Okay, so once the time will come, I will show you how is the basic difference between a design a counter, okay, to design a counter, simple counter 4 bit, okay, with the help of loop and with the help of a reg. Okay, today very tired actually. Okay, so here again, which I have not discussed till date. Okay, but just for your information, that there is a operations. There is a operators basically used in a data flow modeling. Okay, so operators. What is operators? Basically, which perform some operations. Okay, so operators like you have a logical operations, you have a bitwise operation, you have a uh, like reduction operators, right? You have a relational operators, you have a basically uh, logical equality, case equality, concatenation, okay, and ternary operators and arithmetic operators. Okay, so that we are going to discuss detail in operators. So just for your information, there is operator known as the bitwise operators. Okay, so here the integer and bitwise operation. So how the integer is basically support the bitwise operation. So what is exactly a bitwise? Just for your information, I am sharing here. What is exactly a bitwise? So bitwise means your A and A is your 4-bit and B is your 4-bit. So basically, if you are doing this, this is your operation. So A is 4-bit means 1 0 1 0 0, ending with B is 1 0 0 1. So bitwise means, okay. So the output will also come in 4 bits. So basically, this 0 will ending with 1. So output is 0. This 1 will ending with 0. The output is 0. The 0 is ending with 0. The output is 0. This 0 is ending with 1. The output is 0 because you are performing the AND operation. Okay, so this is called bit by bit operations. Okay, this is called bit by bit operation. Okay, so how this is integer support the bit, how the integer support the bit operation. Okay, just for information, you guys are not like क्लास 6 स्टूडेंट की आपको समझ में नहीं आएगा, ठीक है, आपको समझ में आ रहा होगा, बट ये सब हम और डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे जब हम ऑपरेशन पे जाएंगे. ओके, सो जस्ट वन एग्जांपल. अब देखो ये कैसे हुआ है. ए की वैल्यू 12 है, ठीक है. 12 होता है 1010, okay, 1100. Okay, so 12, the binary of 12 is 1100, and the binary of 10 is 1010. Okay, so here it is A and B. See here it is A and B. So C is basically 1100 ending with 1010. Okay, so this is actually your 12 and this is actually your 10. So this is your 12 and this is your 10. So now you will, and so you will perform bitwise operation. So 1 and with 1 output is 1. 1 and with 0 output is 0. 0 and with 1 is output is 0. And again, sorry, this 0 here, and this 0 and with 0. So this is what? This is 8. This is what? This is 8. So your output is 8. Okay. Similarly, your integer is also work with the relational operators. Okay. So again, the behavior modeling is totally depend on the relational operators. Behavior modeling is totally depend on the initial operators. Okay, they are not the, I can say, the complete logic you can make with the help of the relation, with the help of the operators. Okay, so here just for your example, we are not go in detail. So this is equal sign, this is not equal, this is greater than equal, and this is less than equal. This is a simple basic understanding might be you have. Okay, so I have just made one program. Here if A is 20, here if A is 20 and B is 10. So if A is greater than B, then whatever the output is, A is greater. Simple. Okay, simple. Okay. In a case statement, अगेन अपन लोग करेंगे डिस्कस कि सारे ऑपरेटर्स क्या है, रिलेशन कंडीशन स्टेटमेंट्स क्या है, जैसे कि इफ केस. ओके, सो व्हाट इज केस? अ केस स्टेटमेंट इज बेसिकली अ कंडीशनल स्टेटमेंट्स, and basically you have to list down all the cases. Okay, so basically a case is a condition statement, and basically you are list down the all the cases. Okay, so here simple is module case example. Okay, and integer select. So I have taken one variable name is select, initial begin, select 2. Okay, so basically I have given a select a numeric value 2. Okay, that means here I have performed some operation. See, again, basically this integer is select. So this select is basically represent this 0, 1 and 2. Actually, this select is representing the list. This select is representing the list of the condition. List of the condition. Okay, this select is representing the list of the condition. Okay, so here I have mentioned 2. That means at 2 number, what will the my output? This is my output. If I have written 1, then my output will be 1. If I have written 0, then my output will be 0. Okay. Next, integer cannot have a bit range. Yes, only the reg have a bit range. Okay, integer don't have a bit range because अपने आप में इंटीजर एक रेंज है -32 टू +32 और -214 से लेकर +214. So again, this is an interview question. If someone is saying, "Tell me what is the difference between an integer and reg," then this is the one of the examples. That integer has has no range. Sorry, integer basically because integer size is fixed internally. Okay, that means integer, we cannot define integer in a vector. ओके बिकॉज इंटीजर अपने आप में एक रेंज डिफाइन है राइट और रेंज को हमें रेंज देने के लिए वेक्टर देना पड़ता है सो दिस इज वेरी सिंपल एग्जांपल ऑफ डिफरेंस बिटवीन रेंज एंड इंटीजर ओके सो इंटीजर मोस्टली यूज्ड इन अगेन for algorithmic modeling, for simulation calculation, file operation, for test bench, and not commonly used for the actual hardware signals. Okay, सो इंटीजर एंड मेमोरी यूसेज में क्या लिखा है मैंने यहाँ पे इंटीजर कंज्यूम मोर मेमोरी कंपेयर टू स्मॉलर रेंज वेक्टर बिकॉज इट्स अ फिक्स 32 बिट ओके अगेन एक और डिफरेंस बट लॉजिकल डिफरेंस है जैसे कि समवन इज आस्किंग व्हाट इज डिफरेंस बिटवीन अ रेज फ्लिप फ्लॉप एंड लैच ओके सो बच्चे क्या बोलते हैं सर फ्लिप फ्लॉप में क्लॉक होती है रेज में क्लॉक नहीं होती है ये डिफरेंस आप लोग बोलते हो एक या दो डिफरेंस ही आपको पता होता है लेकिन अगर आप बहुत डीप में स्टडी करते हो तो यू कैन डिफरेंशिएट फ्लिप फ्लॉप एंड लैच इन टर्म्स ऑफ पावर इन टर्म्स ऑफ ऑपरेशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ एप्लीकेशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ फ्रीक्वेंसी इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिले इन टर्म्स ऑफ देन इन टर्म्स ऑफ द कंट्रोल सिग्नल्स ओके तो आप चार पांच तरीके से आप बता सकते हो ठीक है तो आपको एज मिलेगा इंटरव्यू में जाओगे तो आपको एज मिलेगा बट अगर मैं सिर्फ एक स्लाइड में आपको बता देता व्हाट इज इंटीजर ओके क्या मुझे इतनी इंफॉर्मेशन मिलती जो मैं आज आपको दे पा रहा हूं मैं आपको नहीं बता पाता ना व्हाट इज एक्स द डिफॉल्ट वैल्यू ऑफ एक्स ओके हाउ इंटीजर इज यूज्ड विद द बिटवाइज ऑपरेशन हाउ इंटीजर इज यूज्ड with a case operation, how integer is used with a relational operation, okay, how integer is used with the mathematical, okay, so this is the my actually reason here ki basically I have to cover each and everything, right? I am covering each and everything so that in at least 30 to 25 slides you you have a better information, okay, and whenever you are going for any interview, right, you basically give the better result, okay, and then you can recommend कि ओके वैभव सर ने ये पढ़ाया था उनके स्लाइड्स में मुझे ये दिखा था ओके सो दिस इज हाउ दिस इज माय इंटरेस्ट and your interest is to crack the interview and my interest is to give you the best knowledge okay so again integer consume more memory because वो उसकी जो बाय डिफॉल्ट साइज होता है वो 32 बिट्स होता है ओके जबकि रेज का नहीं होता है रेज का 0 से स्टार्ट होता है ओके सो रेज जनरली यूज द लेस मेमोरी सो दिस इज अगेन अ डिफरेंस ओके सो मेरी इस स्लाइड से आपको काफी डिफरेंस पता चल जाएगा बिटवीन द रेज एंड इंटीजर ओके like this okay just one example again with while loop that is also used with the while loops again I less than 0 okay syntax of while is different for loop is different so should be less than 5 same thing I plus 1 so incrementation sorry initialization condition and incrementation okay so again integer is used with the while loop also okay key points property again integer property क्या है integer का sign yes fixed with yes default value yes support arithmetic yes support bitwise operation yes support loop yes support condition yes support synthesis limited use in test bench very common okay so I have covered each and every aspect of the integer today okay and please try to understand this type of learning is required with the help of PPT, because the PPT, with the help of PPT, basically we can give you the more information. While giving you any information without PPT, maybe I skip it, maybe I miss it, maybe I forget it. Okay, but if something I am giving you in a written, I have to make the PPT. I have to make sure that everything I have covered here. Okay, maybe I have missed some 5-10%. So maybe you know it. Please share me. I will add it in my slides. So this is all from my side. Thank you very much for going through the videos, and I request you to please connect more genuine and interested people with this initiative. Okay, so today is my 23rd lecture. Okay, last we have started in February 22, and today I have covered 23rd lecture. My colleague Devansh covered some 10 lecture in C and C++, and Vivek is, you know, that he's doing from February 22 only. Okay, we have started with the help of Vivek only. Okay, so Vivek is giving you the knowledge about analog, Devansh is about digital, and I am giving you knowledge about Verilog. So to enter in VLSI, you should have a knowledge of all three in initial year, second year, third year up to, and then in fourth year decide your own domain. Okay, so on the so this is all from my side. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.